Hello, and today we're going to learn how to set up a direct connection from Motive to Unreal, so you can do real-time avatar recording and like movement. Let's get started. Um, so, do, do, do. Uh, Hi. So you can see I am in ballroom 221. Um, and this is going to be kind of a general setup for how to do a basic avatar. So I've already, you can see my motive. I've already have my avatar built, and I am suited up. You can see I've renamed my skeleton to my name. Uh, and so let's start by just kind of adding a sequence. So remember to always save to your folder. And again, your folder should be in the D drive in like student, and kind of just have your QR. And I like to have a TAK folder to save all my TAK files. Okay, so I have a little delay set. Let me just kind of do a test animation. Testing 001, that's fine. All right, so starting a T at the center, facing forward.
3, 2, 1, start.
Okay. I'm just kind of walking around, doing it. Karate kick, whatever. All right. So, this is just kind of a test file. No need to get too crazy. End in a T. Always good practice. All right, so we got that. Okay, so that's saved. One thing with the motive, so it's going to work the same if you have a file that you're playing back versus if you have a live person doing it. So this is a great way to kind of test it out if you don't have an active talent with you. All right, so that's running. Okay, so so I'm using two computers. If you were using a the same computer, you would well, I'm jumping a little ahead, but the main thing is we're going to be connecting through Ethernet. So if you go to the settings here, you'll see like you would go to streaming. If you were on the same computer, like your Unreal was on the same computer as your current one, you would use loopback. But we're going to be using Ethernet. So let's go back to this, and I'll kind of go into that a little bit more detail in a moment. So let's jump into Unreal now. Okay. All right, so let's stop this. Did it crash? Oh no, did it crash? Oops. I hope not. Ooh, oh no. Well, that's fun. All right, I'm gonna restart Unreal because I guess that's what you do. That's fine. Okay. This one. So, the first thing you're going to do is whenever you start your thing, is you're going to like look at your plugins. Again, you can find your plugins and edit plugins. And you're going to type Opti, and then you're going to find Optitrack Live Link, Optitrack Screen Kind Origin. You're going to check these, and it's going to prompt you to restart, and you click yes. If you don't see these, then you can download, you can add the plugin to your game engine. It means that the plugin isn't there in your game engine. The way to do that is to just type in Optitrack Unreal plugin, this plugins download, and then you'll see the plugins. So you'll have this one is good for 5.1. If you're using a previous version of Unreal, you can find that here. And so you would download it, and then in the downloads folder, it would be right here, and you would, unzip this, and it would have all this in there, and then you basically drag this Optitrack folder into your Unreal Engine and into the plugins folder. And then once it's in there, you can see it's the same as this folder here. Then when you restart Unreal, you will see these two additional plugins. All right, so let's create a new map or level and call this avatar tutorial. Sure. All right, so let me just set up a basic plane. And zero it out. And a point light. Again, zero it out. And I don't know, 400. Yeah, something like that. Right. Maybe a little. Oh, that's good, actually. There. All right. So we just have a basic level. And then let's grab our avatar. So I just grabbed an avatar from Mixamo. You can, of course, use whatever avatar you have should work, but, I'm going to grab this avatar here. So in my personal folder, I have this racer. I'm going to drag it in. And then standard stuff should all be fine. This is all good, so I'm just gonna import. Oops, meant to put that in its own folder. I'll do that in a second. Okay, this some like warnings might come up. That's fine. I'm just gonna type this racer. It's always good to try to keep organized. All right, move this in here. Okay. Okay. Cool. So now we're ready to do the Optitrack stuff. So if you type in Opti in your, you should have these three things: features, Optitrack client origin, Optitrack live link display, Optitrack rigid body actor. So we need the client origin. We're gonna zero it out. I'm gonna move a little higher above the ground so that the feet don't slip into the ground. That's kind of so like a little, I put like 10. You might have to adjust it depending. And we're just going to use, in here you'll see the Optitrack. We're going to use Auto Connect right now. So you just make sure this is checked, and then let's now go into fixing up our avatar. So we have in our avatar folder, we're going to right click, and then we're going to do animation blueprint, the second one, and then select our avatar. And this is super important. Make sure the parent class is Optitrack Anim Instance. If you don't do this, you won't see the right nodes, won't pop up, so make sure this is selected, and you'll also see it right here. All right, so create, and short abbreviation is ABP, and racer. Okay, so let's set this guy up. Just opening it. There we go. All right, and so we're gonna drag out, and then we're going to type in Optitrack skeleton. And if nothing comes up, just uncheck context sensitive, and then you'll find it right here. It's going to be under Optitrack Advanced, and then there's like a little square next to it. So looks like this. This will kind of pop up with it. And then we just add get source. Then this one is better to have context sensitive checked to make it easier. We're just going to get the source skeleton asset and get the streaming client origin. So exactly what it says on the top two things. And then lastly, we're going to do autofill bone mapping. And you'll see it goes from none to now having it all filled out. Sometimes there might be like a few, like if it's not, like sometimes the things get spelled weird or whatever. So like if you need to change anything, you can do it manually if the autofill didn't work properly. So that all done, we're going to do compile, save. You might get a little warning. That's okay. All right, and so now when we drag this racer to our scene, it's still kind of dark. Let me kind of bring this up a bit. Whatever. All right, if we press play, if everything should be. Oops. Oh wait, of course. So a few more things. After you drag the eraser into the scene, we're gonna add Optitrack skeleton, and then so you know how in here we have the asset name, the string client origin. We're just gonna add that to our character in the world. So my skeleton name I have is Marcel. This is space sensitive and cap sensitive, so make sure it's exactly how you have it in Motive. And then streaming client origin is this guy, so I'm just gonna find it in the drop down menu. And now, you see I am roaming around. It's a little dark, but add another point light for light purposes. I just don't like that it's so light. Why can't I see anything? Okay. Well, anyway. All right, so that's kind of your basic thing. But, you know, what if it is not working? What do you do? So, like, let's kind of go into some other ways to kind of do this a little bit more manually if the auto doesn't completely set up. So, let's start by adding another client origin. So, this is our second one, or 3 in this case for some reason. And so instead of auto connect, we're going to do a manual collection. So let's jump back into Motive for a bit. All right, so I'm back in Motive, and let's kind of go back to in our settings. We have our streaming settings, and then we have our local interface. So again, if you're on the same computer, your Unreal and your Motive are on the same computer, you can just do loopback. But if not, then you're going to find the Ethernet IP. So the way to do that is you can go to your terminal and then type in ipconfig, and then you'll see Ethernet adapter network right here, and the IP4 address is right here. Another thing to check with your Ethernet in your Ethernet settings is make sure that it's set to private network and is discoverable. If it's set to a public network, it might not be able to be seen. So, and this is true of both computers, so make sure they're both set to where they're discoverable by the other. So if either computer isn't, you might have some issues. All right, so that's another thing to check. Oh, and also if you can find the IP address here as well, so right here. So you find that in the little drop-down menu, and you can do multi or unicast. Either really works. Also, important to note, make sure that this is enabled. So if this is disabled, this is enabled. So if this isn't enabled, then the streaming won't work at all. Everything else should be just kind of stay the same. All right, so I'm going to switch back to live. So we'll see a live demonstration, and let's finish up in Unreal. All right. So I have my secondary streaming client origin, and I'm just gonna type in the IP address. 172. I need to grab it again. It's let's see, 172.22.32.185 in this instance. So let's see, 172.22.35. No, sorry, .32.185. Okay. All right, so that's set. The server address is set. This can stay at 000, and then multicast switch to unicast. All right. So that's our thing. And let's also show how to do, oh, that's why it's so light. Okay. So let's also add a blueprint to our character area. So this is, we're gonna just basically set up this similar to the, this is kind of a better way to do it because it gives you a little bit more range down the line as you're adding like triggers or other info. It's always good to kind of have a blueprint instead of just the ABP, but you can do either as we saw. So just gonna add a skeleton mesh, and then I'm gonna find in our animation, the animation class is going to be our AVP Racer that we set up. And then we're going to find Racer. And then I'm also going to just change his material so he's a little easier to distinguish from the other one. All right, so that's all good. I'm just going to compile and save. So that's all you need to do. And let's drag this guy into our world. I'm going to put him over here. Okay. And then same thing as before. We're going to add the Optitrack skeleton and do your skeleton asset name. Oops. And then stream client origin. We're going to do the third one. So they're on. That's the one that we did manually. And as you can see, now that we add both, and if I jump into the black box, you can see here we are. So that's the other way to do it, more manually. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. That's pretty much it. So yeah, good luck and happy mocapping.